We all misbehave sometimes. Wanna change the world, indulge in some bad behavior.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Bad Behavior Podcast, where we talk about badass women, activism and positive change and our journey to becoming boss women ourselves. I'm Nicola and I'm currently in New York City.
Hello, I'm Rosalind. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. This week, we're going to talk about tattoos and tattoo artists. But before we do that, Nicola.
Yes?
How have you been bad this week? I love this.
Yeah,
I love this segment.
Such a good question.
Yeah.
Well, this week is actually quite a cute one and it's a bit of a throwback memory. I'm sure many people remember the Women's March that practically took over the entire world and
That was amazing. We had a Women's March in Melbourne.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was literally a revolution and it was so beautiful to witness. And when I was racking my brain for anecdotes, this one popped up very clearly. So basically I went with a group of my friends and one of the people that was in my group was a little girl that I used to nanny for, and I'd nannied for her since she was 9 years old. So she's 13 now. So I've seen her grow up and I have honestly seen her grow into the best little feminist that you could ever witness. She had on a shirt that said pizza rolls, not gender roles.
Oh my god.
And I was
Did you teach her this feminist boss-assery while you were
I mean,
nannying her?
I do remember some key moments where I may have just dipped her toe in it to try and introduce her to the world of feminism in a way, but she honestly is so insanely smart. She's one of my bestest buddies because she's so mature and intelligent, and seeing her just in that atmosphere, screaming at the top of her lungs all these amazing dump Trump and all that, and that was her first big protest. So protest, or I don't know what you would call it, but it was declaration of here-ness. That's what I would call it. And she was declaring, and she has not stopped declaring ever since then.
Yeah.
At 13, what were we doing?
Oh god.
Not that.
I was severely into horses at 13. And I had a Saddle Club diary.
Oh yes.
Saddle
that
Club
old
was
nugget.
big here. It was a series of books and also a TV show.
It was amazing. It was honestly, I think, where girls learnt to become women from the pages of Saddle Club.
Stevie was my favourite character. I don't think it's not an American thing, is it?
No, it's very Australian. It's like true blue country girls who are riding on these horses and just being, actually they are badass bitches. The girls
they kind of are in a way, aren't they? They're just living their dreams
on
at a young
horses.
age.
Seriously, I used to dream of just going to those stables.
I have dreams, but none of them are on horseback, which I think it elevates them literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, no, definitely. Anyways, Rosalind,
yes.
Right back at ya. How have you been bad this week?
Actually, I'm kind of excited about this. So I have been doing some performances for singing. I wrote a song a while back called Ruins. Obviously a very uplifting and optimistic song.
Very much so.
Yes, it's an environmental song. I'm very passionate about the environment and environmental policy, and I don't believe that environmental policy is where it should be in Australia. And I recently started performing it in front of people, which I hadn't done before. And I think when you're really passionate about an issue like that, you feel like you want to go and actually do something about it. But I was very much an armchair activist for a little while I was studying. I just didn't have much time. And so I didn't feel like I was making that much of a change in something that I truly believe in. And performing this song has kind of been amazing because people have come up and said, I agree. It's shit.
You've opened up a new chapter of yourself as a performer, because being someone who can sing about activism is really cool. And through song, that's not something that a lot of us can do,
We can all give it a go.
We can give it a
Don't
mighty
stop
good go.
yourself just because you think you're not a profesh singer. Go onto the street corner, sing a tune. Change the world.
You tell him loud and proud.
So I am quite proud of that, actually.
You definitely should be. Very, very good bad behaviours that we've had this week.
Changing the world in our own teeny tiny ways.
Teeny tiny ways, but ways all the same.
Yeah.
Anyways, this week we have such a cool topic. It is female tattoo artists. when we were brainstorming topics, this was one of the ones that we stumbled upon really quickly because we're
both really into tattoos. I think it's an amazing art form. It's a wonderful way to express yourself, and there are a lot of stigmas and weird opinions surrounding people with tattoos,
especially women too. It's always been kind of a token of masculinity having a tattoos.
Yeah. As of 2012, tattooed women outnumber men for the first time in American history. So I'm going to talk about Margot Mifflin, and she is not a tattoo artist, which might be a bit controversial for this topic, but she is an author, journalist, and a professor, and she writes about women's history in the arts. She's a professor at the City University of New York. She wrote a book called Bodies of Subversion, A Secret History of Women and Tattoos. I was looking at her, trying to find someone else to talk about, and I realized, why not just stick at the source? Why don't I just talk about Margot? So in this book, she recounts the lives of early female tattooists, and there are a lot of photos of never before seen tattooed women and artwork from female tattooists. She also talks about the 20th century and how the increase in tattoos seemed to coincide with trends in the women's movement throughout that time, which is super interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't really think of that. But it is true that women have a history of standards being imposed on them of what beauty is and that they must be pure, and that tattooing violates that purity. She has an interview where she kind of talks about that concept, and it's really cool to see the changing relationship to our bodies and the changing modes of self-representation of our bodies and our own appearance and what it means to be beautiful. I have a little quote that's from the book. Tattooed women of the 19th and early 20th centuries flouted Victorian ideals of feminine purity and decorum, gradually peeling them away like so many starched garments. Tattoos appeal to the contemporary woman both as emblems of empowerment in an era of feminist gains and as badges of self-determinism at a time when controversies about abortion rights, date rape, and sexual harassment have made them think hard about who controls their bodies and why.
Wow, I love that.
She also talks about how there's a history of women using tattoos to be marked as male property. That's something that's in the book.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of different themes that are really interesting.
You don't consider tattoos in that fashion either, because definitely, like, self-expression wise, there's a huge discussion in regards to tattoos and that.
Yeah.
But when more so how, like, a body can be almost a historical representation of feminism. That's so cool.
The history of tattoos on women is something I never thought about in my life. I love tattoos. I have a few myself, but I do remember when I got my first tattoo, I was quite nervous to tell my parents. They have been quite openly against the idea of me getting them. My mother is in theatre. She's all about self-expression, but tattoos are permanent, and this idea of it not being good for
for getting a job. That's
their
like a
daughter.
big,
You know, they want their daughter to have a certain aesthetic and kind of I don't know what it is.
No, it's like, honestly, I think it's a purity thing. It's like you don't want to be that like marked property, because there's this huge connotation of I remember growing up, people would always say, oh, don't get a tattoo because you won't get a job, which is just not very true.
Nowadays, so many people have them that you would be an idiot to immediately discount someone because of a tattoo. Margot actually does talk about how there was a turn in mid 20th century, I think, perhaps, where it was considered that lower class people would get tattoos.
Yeah, like I picture it being more so like criminals. Like,
there is a stigma around the idea of having tattoos, definitely. And I think for women it's kind of twofold as well, because it's got that idea of femininity and womanhood, and then this idea that, you know, getting tattoos is a bit rough. Obviously there are cultures where tattoos are inherently a part of their culture, and such as the Maori tattoos in New Zealand, which are absolutely beautiful, and it is an art form. People forget that as well, oddly. But someone's, you know, scratching art into your body. It's incredible.
It's a difficult canvas to work with also. How, like, that is so insane.
I fell asleep in my last tattoo.
I was talking to someone about this the other day, about how it wasn't very painful. It was when I got my nose pierced that I full on cried. Like, I wept tears, but my tattoo wasn't. It was like a good kind of pain. I was like,
Oh my
really,
God,
like,
this got a bit weird.
no, I mean, like, it was productive pain. Do you know what
Productive pain. You do feel like you just put up with it, and then your tattoo in a way feels like it's worth
Yes,
more
exactly.
or something, which is odd. I never thought of it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to consider. Well, my woman is
My woman,
my gal, my girl. She is actually from South Korea, so this is
Oh.
really interesting. Other side of you were talking a lot about Western women, and this is the other side of that equation. In South Korea, it's illegal to be a tattoo artist. So you can have tattoos, but you cannot be a tattoo artist because you have to leave the country to legally get a tattoo. That's how the system works over there.
Wow.
And visiting a tattoo artist in South Korea, you're running the risk of getting arrested. But of course, with anything that becomes illegal, there is a really huge, thriving underground tattoo scene,
how
which is so
interesting.
like gritty
Talk
and really
about
cool.
stigma that they have, that it's illegal. I wonder
Absolutely. So,
what the official line is, that it's...
well, okay, so they say that the only people who are officially certified in Korea to give tattoos are doctors.
Oh.
So it's more of like almost like a health thing. Like, it's who is able to operate.
Tattoos?
Well, see, that's the thing. No doctor is gonna go
Whip out a...
Yeah.
You've got to... we're not going to amputate the leg. We're just going to
tattoo it.
have a beautiful picture of a sugar skull.
No, exactly. That's why the movement's kind of had to move underground, because that's such an unrealistic standard of...
What is this woman's name?
I'm getting to her. I gotta give the background.
Sorry.
Gotta give her background. As we were just talking about, people with tattoos are they're generally regarded as dangerous, criminals, delinquents, and really more so problematic for females, because they have these really, as a lot of the times is the same over here, but it's even more imposed over there because it's illegal. They have these it's like physical and symbolic purity, it's being a beauty ideal, and tattoos destroy that. So there is this really cool woman that I found. Her artist name is Kim Eun.
Kim Eun?
Yeah, KIMDAN. So that's how you can...
Kim Eun.
Yes.
I really like that.
It is beautiful. Her full name is Kim Kyung Eun. So it's like a shortened version of that. And she really struck me because not only is she an amazing, thriving female tattoo artist that's operating in South Korea, but she's also openly a lesbian. And she is really vocal about her relationships.
Is homosexuality illegal in Korea? I don't know.
Honestly, could not say that. I don't think it is. You'll have to...
But perhaps there's a lot of stigma.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stigma about it. Her partner is another beautiful woman named Hana, and they have a really amazing social network that they use. So they're both really open. They have Instagrams and Facebook, and they're both very open about their relationship and about their love for tattoos. And they're both heavily tatted up and really beautiful to see.
So it's an open secret that they get the tattoos from.
Well, I did a lot of research for this, and I actually watched, if you guys want to know more about underground tattoo scene in South Korea, Viceland has a really good series about it, because people, you're not going to get like dragged to jail if you're heavily tattooed, but it's like people are outwardly rude to you about it. So if you're walking down the street and you have tattoos that are showing, there's just a lot of aggression. People will be moving away from you, like trying to avoid you. It's like no one wants to associate with someone who has tattoos, because it's like dirty. It's like a mark, a scar.
View.
They describe themselves, back to the couple, they describe themselves on their social media as being a perfect couple who's staying aloof from legal contracts or terms, are more honest and brave than anyone else.
I looked it up. So it's not illegal, but they do face, so LGBTIQA plus people in South Korea do face a lot of legal challenges and discrimination in South Korea. And one of the presidential frontrunners in the South Korean elections says that he openly opposes homosexuality very deeply. So
so that's pretty blatant, the discrimination. And so this is why I was so drawn to this woman, because her entire life is kind of twofold with the oppression and discrimination that she's experiencing, And so they actually, when I was reading up about them, they're really cute and beautiful, and they have matching tattoos that say "We are one" in Latin.
Oh, gosh. Couple goals. I would be too scared to get a matching tattoo with my significant other, though. What if they broke up? I mean, obviously, they probably won't. They're facing a lot to be together, but the inner pessimist in me is immediately,
I mean,
don't get something like
I think
that.
you're onto something, honestly, because
Everyone has a friend who got a tattoo for their boyfriend or their
and
girlfriend.
yeah, they're
and
not
regret
together
it.
anymore. No, it's a thing. I mean, it's definitely something to consider.
Not something I would do.
May-
I do have a tattoo that some of my friends have.
Yeah.
We have a friendship tattoo.
Which is
Sorry, Nicola.
very poetic. But back to Kim
Kim
Dunn. So yeah, she's been with her girlfriend for 5 years, and she wanted to be a tattoo artist ever since middle school, and she saw an American man on television with a huge tattoo on his arm, and that kind of inspired her to pursue it. And she spent a lot of time researching on social media tattoo artists, and then she began teaching herself how to tattoo.
Have you looked at her stuff?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
What sort of stuff does she do?
So a lot of it's very so I don't honestly know how to describe tattoos in like expert detail.
We're not experts at
It's
it.
not simplistic, it's very intricate,
Yeah.
and it's very realistic too. Like the ones that I were particularly drawn to that she's done were like little contained images, if that makes sense. So it's like one that I remember is a box that someone had on their leg or their arm, and it was flowers in it, but it looked like you were almost looking at a photo, like a photo
Yeah.
frame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would definitely look up her stuff because it's gorgeous. She has immense talent. It's so beautiful, and a large variety of stuff that she does too. She's very she can work with a lot of different ideas, I think. So she talks a lot openly about how difficult it is to be a female tattoo artist in South Korea, and she says that the main perception is you're a ruined woman. She said one day someone came up to her in the street and blatantly asked her why she was leaving scars on women.
Oh, God.
So it's just an absolute rejection of her profession and what she's passionate about. And I have a quote from her that says, "I met a girl who had scars on her arms from cutting herself. I helped her cover the scars with a tattoo, and she told me that I was simultaneously helping her move on from bad memories." And I just thought that was beautiful.
What an incredible woman to face such discrimination and stigma and just sort of live her life. Just say, fuck you guys, this is my life and this is who I am.
As I said, yeah, they're very active. They cut both of them. Her girlfriend is not a tattoo artist, but they both have a lot of beautiful tattoos. And they're very active on social media. And she said, as time goes on, more and more people have been telling us that they checked our pages and they stopped denouncing and laughing at gays. So that in itself, that's incredible.
Yeah.
We will link their social media on our website because you should definitely check it out. It's beautiful if you like tattoos, or even if you just like seeing, like, they're both so fashionable.
I'm going to look up the Vice.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The whole underground aspect of it is so intriguing.
That kind of makes me really intrigued. As soon as something is underground or not allowed, I immediately go,
yeah, well, this
"Ooh,"
is like,
you know.
the testament to bad behavior. Like, this woman is operating,
Yeah.
she's living her passions to the full extreme whilst being like doubly.
We should all be Kim Dunn.
Exactly.
In our own way. I was going to ask, have you ever found that you've had a kind of an adverse reaction to your tattoo from people, strangers?
No, never. But that I think has a lot to do with the fact that, like, a Western white woman.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, like, yes, I think, and the placement of my tattoo is pretty, it's hidden well, so people wouldn't openly notice it if I was just talking to, like, walking
It's
past
interesting
them.
talking about the job thing, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
When I was getting my tattoos, having it placed in areas where I could cover it up when I went to be professional was something I definitely thought about.
Yeah.
Which I never really considered until now. Is very much tying into that idea that you can't be professional while having tattoos or you won't get a job.
No, it is interesting. And also I think I've heard a lot of my friends who have sleeves or who have tattoos that are more obvious. It's kind of, they always say it's like a license for people to just talk to them, like, openly, especially with men. women who have are heavily tatted or they have like intriguing tattoos, they say it's always really difficult because people just think they can, because they've been so open with their expression on their bodies, that gives anyone like a godforsaken right to just say what they want about them, if that makes sense. Which is it's like if you have a really, same with I know with women of colour and their hair, like people touching it and stuff, like because you've been so like you have something so open on your body, it just gives people the license to kind of,
people gotta shut up.
they quite frankly do.
Yeah.
It's fucking, that's because when I got my tattoo, that was something I was really acutely aware of, was like, are people looking at it? Like, what are people thinking of it? But when it all comes down to it, it's, even though it's shown on your body, it's still a part of, like an intimate part of who you are. So whether people look at it and what their reaction to it is, it's very, you just need to be content with why you got it and move on.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't have to be some grand conceptual idea.
Yeah.
Mine certainly are. They're very personal to me, but I have a lot of friends who are wearing tattoos that they just really like the look of. And I think that's
so fine.
a wonderful reason to have a tattoo. I do think that I have a little bit of that leftover stigma. I don't want to lie. I want to be completely honest about it. You know, when you see perhaps older men with tattoos,
especially the placement of them too. Like, I judge a lot.
Facial tattoos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always think, like, if I see someone, I can admit to this bias off the bat, because with a face tattoo, I'm always like, why did you ruin your face? Which is not my judgment to make, because that is literally...
Because it's self-expression.
Exactly.
Like, they should be able to do that. It is interesting. I think it's interesting and very valid when we come across points in our life where we realize our own biases. It's something that I need to think more about and maybe change.
No, absolutely.
Not maybe, definitely change. Kim Dunn, what a babe. Right. We will put the links to the social media, and also I will put down the title and links to buying the book from Margot.
Margot the babe too.
The babe that she is. So yeah, with two incredible women. Yeah, the history of tattoos, and then a very subversive underground.
Yeah, a woman who's kind of living her history of tattoos right now. Yeah.
Incredible. I'm ready to go and get another tattoo, if I'm honest.
You want to go? Let's just
go. Let's throw it down. So you go to somewhere in New York. I'll FaceTime you.
It'll be great.
Yeah, we'll be in pain together and then come out looking like beautiful butterflies. Let's get a butterfly.
Sounds like a plan. See you in 10. Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you so much. You can check out my Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Rosalind Enketel, and Nicola's got an amazing blog that she's doing. Yes. www.nicolalouise.com. She looks a bit, I feel like she's going to be a bit mad at me for telling you about it.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm new to this whole self-promotion thing.
Wait,
I'll get used to it. Oh my god, plugged me all over, Rosalind.
We'll take that out.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, if you liked what we were speaking about, or if you have any comments about the topic that we spoke on,
about your own tattoo experiences,
we would love to see photos, anything you would like to tell us. Please send us an email, or you can subscribe to our shows. Please find us on Twitter, Facebook. We would love to start a conversation with you about...
my gosh, we really would.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week with some more amazing anecdotes. Well, maybe not amazing, but we'll try.
But mediocre, you know, we can promise you mediocrity. Yeah.
And some badass women, for sure.
Exactly. Thank you so much for listening.